Hello, welcome back. So, first of all, I just wanted to give a quick update about what I've been reading. I just finished I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Great book, highly recommended. Kind of a hard read. I listened to the audiobook version on Audible because they gave me another free month because I haven't been using them for a while. Just it was hard to get through, but it just made me want to give my mom a hug. I would recommend the audiobook version. It was read by Jeanette herself, and it's really powerful. It was really interesting to hear the story. I watched iCarly growing up, so just to know what she was going through as that was filmed was pretty sobering to listen to. I've also been reading The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. I tried to read Fahrenheit 451 like 2 or 3 years ago, and something about the prose, if I remember right, just really rubbed me the wrong way. So I only got like 2 chapters in before I put it down. But I just wanted to give him another shot as an author. So I'm picking up this one, and if I like it, I might pick up Fahrenheit 451 again. We'll see. I'm also reading Call Us What We Carry. It's a poetry collection that was written during the pandemic. Not sure how I'm going to feel about it, just because I had a different experience of the pandemic than I think most people did, because I lived in the country and worked in a greenhouse and am antisocial. So not too much changed for me. There's been some good lines through it so far. I'm like 40 pages in. So yeah, I'm probably going to finish that one. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm about a little bit more than halfway through The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. It's chocked full of information. It's super dense. And if you want to understand genes and like how we got to where we are as a species or as life in general, I'd highly recommend it. It's very good. It's approachable, but not too reductive. Highly recommended, although it is really long. And I've got 2 chapters left of What My Son Needs to Know About the World by Frederick Bachman. I love this book. It's so special. I've been taking my time with it just because like it's one of those ones that I really don't want to rush through. It's very short, but it's so sweet. If you are a father, if you want to be a father, or if you just want to appreciate your dad more, read this book. It is so good. It is so special. It really makes me just appreciate humanity. So if you want your faith in humanity restored, give this book a shot. I also wanted to address the shelf behind me. I just made it a couple days ago. Nothing fancy about the actual construction itself. It's just a pine that was glued together and then painted haphazardly. Nothing special about the shelf itself. But there were a few additions that I picked up, like Blankets by Craig Ferguson. I just picked up that one. I read it a couple months ago. Absolutely beautiful book. Highly recommended. The best graphic novel I've ever read. Honestly, I think it's my favorite book I've ever read. It is so good. I also picked up Turtles All the Way Down from a thrift store. I've read that one before, but it is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommended. Just the way that John Green is able to describe like mental illness and the thought process is just something else. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. I also picked up Devil in the White City. I tried to read the audiobook a while ago, didn't really get into it, but it is an interesting story, so I do want to read the book, and I found it at a thrift store for like $1, so why not? And then what else? We got Beartown by Frederick Bachman. After reading What My Son Needs to Know About the World, I think I'm probably going to read just about everything by him, just because he seems like a really special author, so really looking forward to this one. And then What We Owe the Future is one that I've been eyeing for a while, just kind of like an introspective book about how to live, is my understanding of what it's about, so that'll be interesting. And then what else do we got? We got Meditations by Marcus Aurelius that I picked up, as well as To Kill a Mockingbird and The Picture of Dorian Gray, just more classics that I want to get to. And then also Habibi, I think is how it's pronounced, by Craig Thompson. Just because I loved Blankets so much, I just want to give that one a read. Really looking forward to it. I hope it's as special as Blankets was, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm super grateful that I was able to build this thing and actually display all my books instead of just having them sit on top of my dresser. This is a lot nicer, and I'm happy. It makes me happy just to look at it, so that's pretty cool. I also wanted to talk about my philosophy for buying books, so to speak. I don't know why I built the shelf this size. Honestly, I probably should have built it bigger because I plan on buying more books and it's almost full already. I can put some like up here where the candles are, but I should have made it taller because I'm going to run out of space super fucking quick. So I am trying to build a collection of books just because I like reading and I like looking at them and it makes me happy. So why not? And books are pretty great. I do prefer physical books just to hold them and to be able to look at them, and you also never lose access to them if you actually own them in the same way that you could with ebooks. Not that I think that's likely to happen, but it certainly could happen, and that would be rather annoying. I'm also not huge on audiobooks anymore just because it's rare that I'm actually in a situation where I would listen to an audiobook over read a physical book, just because normally how I've been doing it is like I'll put the book on as I'm like playing video games or something and not listen to any of it. That's what I did with The Great Gatsby, and I only remember the first and last chapter of that book and nothing in between. So unless it's something special like I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, I'm probably not going to listen to very many audiobooks anymore. You need to have a really mundane task if you're going to do something as you're listening to an audiobook. And if you're not going to do something, I'd rather just pick the book up instead. It's also faster that way for me, at least. Even though I'm kind of a slow reader, it's generally faster to read the book than to listen to it. A lot of the reading that I've done this year, I was on a boat for quite a while with no access to the internet. So as I was in a port, I less than legally downloaded quite a bit of books, just because I only brought a couple with me and didn't have a lot of money to be spending on books at the time. No regrets. I think that's fine. For the books that I really enjoyed and the authors that I really appreciate, I will be buying nice versions of their recent releases as a way to support them. But just in principle, if you don't have money and you don't have access to a library, don't feel bad about less than legally obtaining books however you need to. I don't care about it, and I really don't think any author would be upset with you if you genuinely cannot get your hands on the book in any other way. Just read. They'd rather have you read the book than not read the book. That's why they wrote it. But again, if you are going to do that, ideally when you are in a better financial situation, you should be buying a recent release from them to show your support for both them and the industry as a whole. Libraries are also a great way if you have access to them. Use your library before you less than legally obtain them, but if the library is not an option, go for it. I should probably stop swaying so much. The main reason I don't have a issue with less than legally obtaining books is because I've been buying most of mine from thrift stores anyway, and the authors don't get any cut of that because they only got the cut when the book was first bought. So it's not like me buying used books is supporting them any more than less than legally obtaining them. Also, if the author is dead, I feel absolutely no remorse, unless maybe they died recently so their family could get a cut. But if they've been dead for quite a while, they really aren't going to benefit at all from you buying it new. So just either buy it used or yoink that bitch. Honestly, more than just price, I like used books just because I don't have to worry about them. Like, they're already broken, they're already creased, so I don't have to worry about it. Like, my version of The Catcher in the Rye that I just read, it's already beat up, it's already creased, there's some marks in it, so I really don't have to worry about being rough with it. I don't have to worry about being rough with it as I'm reading it. I can just throw it around. Who cares? Like, it's just a beaten up old book. If it gets ruined, I can easily replace it for just a couple dollars. Not a big deal. Whereas with blankets, honestly, I got this book pretty cheap. It was only $26 for a really nice hardback version. So no complaints there, but like, I still really care about the condition of the book, and like reading it, I'm going to be extra careful with it just because it's really special to me and I want to take care of it. I would hate if I had to have that same level of caution with every book that I read. It would just be too much. So like the first time you read a book that you don't know if you're going to like, honestly, I prefer like just a cheap paperback version, just so I don't have to care about it and just so it's light and easy to carry around and read, and you don't have to worry about scuffing it or marking it up or anything like that. It's just a book. You're just reading it. If it doesn't look the greatest, cool. And honestly, I honestly think a beat up book in a lot of cases, like especially for like old classics, looks better than a brand new fancy looking one. Um, I don't want my books to look like I haven't read them for the most part, unless like there's something really special like blankets and Habibi down here. But yeah, that's my philosophy on buying books. I'm gonna be buying a lot more and probably be building a bigger one of these. I don't know where I'm gonna put this one when I replace it with a bigger one, but more books to come, more reading to be done, and I'm really glad that I got back into reading. I'm really glad.